President Trump on his way to Wisconsin to campaign for Republican candidates. We are live from Mosinee right now at 6.
We're turning over every leaf and stone and looking for every solution that we can.
2 Rock County schools are losing tax funding. Now school leaders are trying to figure out what the future looks like for their district.
This is News 3 at 6.
We're following some breaking news right now. A town of Madison man has been arrested for attempting to possess radioactive material. Court documents allege that in March and October of this year, Jeremy Ryan tried to buy a lethal dose of radioactive substances on the internet to kill someone. He was arrested by the FBI and taken into custody without incident today. The charge of attempted possession of radioactive material with intent to cause death carries a maximum term of life in prison. Republicans are rallying in Wisconsin tonight with President Donald Trump less than 2 weeks before Election Day. Political reporter Jessica Arp is live at the Central Wisconsin Airport, where we are expecting the president this evening. Good evening, Jess.
Well, good evening. Yeah, we are have already heard this evening from the top of the ticket Republican candidates in Wisconsin, including Governor Scott Walker and State Senator Leah Vukmir. We're seeing these candidates draw contrasts with Democrats, but also denounce what are being called acts of terrorism around the country today. Folks here in the Mosinee area filling the hangar at the Central Wisconsin Airport this afternoon and evening to listen to these Republican candidates and President Donald Trump. The aim of this event, to try and turn out Republican voters. But Governor Scott Walker began his remarks this evening by calling out as terrorism the explosive devices sent to Democrats across the country.
Let me be clear. An attempt to engage in a terrorist act against any American is an attack against every American. We need to let the world know that every one of us stands up against terrorism here in the United States of America.
Wisconsin elected President Trump with 27,000 votes. He won. No, we won. We won when nobody said we could do it, when the polls said we couldn't do it. Well, guess what, my friends? We're going to do the same on November 6th.
The crowd also hearing from Speaker Paul Ryan, who had to quiet chants from some in the crowd of "Build That Wall" to condemn the acts of terrorism himself. Ryan saying there was, quote, no place for that in our democracy. Now, the president also condemned those acts today in remarks from the White House. We'll see if he continues that theme and that sentiment carries over into this rally. We'll also see whether his efforts to turn out GOP voters in Wisconsin will carry over the next 13 days before Election Day.
Jessica Arp reporting tonight. Jessica, thank you.
And former President Barack Obama will be in Wisconsin on Friday at a high school in Milwaukee. Mr. Obama campaigning for Senator Baldwin, gubernatorial candidate Tony Evers, and other Democratic candidates. The Democratic Party of Wisconsin says President Obama will appear at North Division High School on Milwaukee's north side Friday afternoon. And former Vice President Joe Biden will be in Madison Tuesday for an early vote rally at the UW. Mr. Biden will also campaign with Senator Baldwin and Evers. The rally hopes to encourage Wisconsinites to cast early votes ahead of the November 6th election. That event will take place at Gordon Dining and Events Center on campus. The doors will open at 9 a.m. Tuesday. Attendees are asked to RSVP online.
2 school districts in Rock County will have to do more with less money. Tax rates in both Milton and Janesville are dropping. News 3's Adam Duxter explains how the superintendents in both districts are addressing the issue.
Janesville Superintendent Steve Pufall describes his school budget like a pie. While the pie itself isn't growing, one slice is getting bigger, meaning others have to get smaller. Now that his district is losing state funding, Pufall says his biggest concern is who will get the small slice. Students are gone today from Craig High School, enjoying a day off thanks to a professional development day. At the district offices, however, the district superintendent is at work, trying to figure out how he's going to do more with less.
The fact of the matter is we really have no new revenue rolling into the district.
Pufall says the school district of Janesville lost $2.25 million in state funding. Pair that with taxes lowering, he says cuts are inevitable.
In order to reinvest or invest in new initiatives, we have to cut something else to make that happen.
His district isn't the only one in the area in this situation. Just up the road, Milton schools, despite being debt-free for the first time in over a decade, are now counting on a referendum passing to help them make the improvements they need.
We'll be looking at, hopefully, a community supporting some type of capital referendum at some point, which will increase our debt, but will also do some things to help programming and help students.
Pufall says referendums like these are the only way schools have been able to find additional funding. He says for Janesville, the idea of trying one is always on the table.
We're turning over every leaf and stone and looking for every solution that we can.
Now the deadline for Milton to submit their referendum is in January, but in the meantime, both superintendents say they're committed to giving their students the best they possibly can. In Janesville, Adam Duxter, WISC News 3.
Milton Superintendent Dr. Tim Shiger says the district also plans on applying for $300,000 in additional state funding this spring.
More sunshine out there today, but for how much longer? Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti. Gary?
Well, unfortunately, not a lot longer. Clear skies this evening will turn cloudy overnight, and then the clouds will be with us for the rest of the week. As we start out by taking a look at visible cloud track, you can see there were some clouds over southeastern Wisconsin. Some clouds out to the west of us are starting to stream in our direction, but there's not a lot of precipitation in those clouds. A few sprinkles up in northern Minnesota and in eastern Nebraska, about the closest precipitation of any consequence. Here in Madison, 27 was the overnight low temperature, so it was rather chilly by about 10 degrees compared to normal here in southern Wisconsin. High temperatures, though, were just within a few degrees of average. 53 was the high here in Madison, and current temperatures now are generally in the upper 40s to around 50 degrees, although it is cooler near Lake Michigan. Temperatures only around 40 up toward Manitowoc and Sheboygan. By tomorrow morning, temperatures will be in the middle 30s. Skies will turn cloudy. Then look for a cloudy day tomorrow, but right now it looks like it'll stay dry with a high of 51. That's your first alert forecast.
All right, Gary, thank you. Authorities are now offering a $25,000 reward for information that leads to the location of missing Wisconsin teen Jamie Kloss. She went missing October 15th. Officers sent to her family's home in Barron after a 911 call. There they found Jamie's parents, Denise and James, shot to death. Investigators believe Jamie was abducted and have ruled her out as a suspect. Jamie's aunt also talked about her disappearance for the first time.
Jamie, we need you here with us to fill that hole we have in our hearts. We all love you to the moon and back, and we will never stop looking for you.
And investigators continue to look for two vehicles of interest, a red or orange Dodge Challenger, a black Ford Edge or Acura MDX SUV. The Barron County Sheriff says there are 200 officers now working 24 hours a day to help bring Jamie home.
The district attorney for Iowa County found himself in a familiar location this afternoon, but for an unfamiliar reason. Larry Nelson was in court facing a judge on charges for drunk driving. He was arrested last month after the sheriff's office received an OnStar emergency alert. Nelson pled guilty to a first offense OWI charge. The judge ordered him to pay a $1,000 fine and to have an ignition interlock device for 1 year.
Someone who visited a Mount Horeb gas station recently is a lucky winner tonight. A winning $1 million Mega Millions ticket was sold at the Quick Trip on Springdale Street in Mount Horeb. That $1 million winning ticket is the second highest prize available in the Mega Millions game, with the winner matching all 5 white balls but missing that Mega Ball number. There were 35 of those $1 million tickets sold nationwide. At least one jackpot winner was sold down in South Carolina.
Still ahead at 6, we'll take a look at final preparations for Freak Fest on State Street this weekend.
Plus, we sit down with candidates for U.S. Senate, what they have to say about health care when it comes to pre-existing conditions. That's just ahead.
It's a phrase that is dominating political ads and debates this election season. Pre-existing conditions.
And that's why tonight we're taking a closer look at where the candidates for U.S. Senate stand on health care and guaranteeing insurance coverage for people with those pre-existing conditions. Rose Schmidt sat down one-on-one with interviews with both candidates, and she joins us with what they had to say about this very key issue, Rose.
Well, healthcare issues were what Tammy Baldwin says led her into politics decades ago, while her Republican challenger Leah Vukmir touts her work as a nurse in understanding the healthcare system. In U.S. Senate races across the country, voters have made it clear that healthcare is a top priority. In Wisconsin, the candidates are split on the Affordable Care Act.
I want to bring healthcare back to the states and back to where it should be. Decisions are made between patients and their doctors. I don't want the federal government deciding on my health care.
Republican Leah Vukmir has said she would cast the deciding vote to repeal the ACA, while Democrat Tammy Baldwin is a longtime supporter, but says she acknowledges there are issues with it.
It has been, unfortunately, just this bitter partisan battle. Defund or repeal the Affordable Care Act or keep it. We need to actually improve the Affordable Care Act.
At the center of the debate, if the Affordable Care Act is repealed, how will the candidates guarantee coverage for people with pre-existing medical conditions? Vukmir calls it the lie of this election cycle that Republicans want to get rid of that coverage.
Before Obamacare went into place, federal law says that if you're on Medicare, Medicaid, or employer insurance, you are covered for pre-existing conditions. That means in Wisconsin, we had almost 92% of the people that were covered. The remaining 8% we took care of through a high-risk sharing pool.
Baldwin says she's fighting to keep the ACA, but will take action if it's repealed.
I would do everything that I possibly could to make sure that people with pre-existing conditions had real options, not sham options, but real options.
When asked if they favor a Medicare for all plan, Baldwin says all smart options have to be kept on the table, while Vukmir says that proposal would lead to fewer doctors, meaning a decrease in quality of care. And it's something she says she will never let happen.
All right, Rose Schmidt reporting tonight. Rose, thank you. We are a week away from Halloween, and this weekend the holiday taking over downtown Madison.
What you need to know ahead of this year's Freak Fest celebration when News 3 at 6 returns.
Skies will turn cloudy tonight, and they'll probably stay that way for the rest of the week, but rain chances will be fairly low. I'll have your first alert forecast in just a few minutes.
A lineup dominated by female artists and bands fronted by women will headline the annual Freak Fest event Saturday night on State Street. But the big headline might be how this event has evolved over the years. Gone is the violence and the destruction of storefronts and police in riot gear. Though police do still have a strong presence at Freak Fest, it has become an event that people of all ages can safely enjoy. Tickets $10 in advance, $15 at the gate. You will need a ticket to be on State Street after 7 o'clock Saturday evening.
Curbside sandbag collection starts next week in Madison. The bags were used to help people protect their homes and businesses following this summer's historic flooding. People can also store the bags for future use, reuse the sand, haul the sandbags to a sand site, or put them on the curb for collection on Monday. Around 200,000 sandbags were filled in the Madison area this summer.
It's nice to see those go away, Gary, and see things dry out and hopefully stay that way, although maybe some sprinkle or two in the next few days.
Not a lot of rain around here, and a lot of that is because of the remnants of Hurricane Willow going through the southern part of the United States, but that keeps us high and dry. In fact, on Doppler track, not a drop of rain to be found around here. Skies have been sunny for much of the day today. Now the skies are clearing out, but we'll see more clouds moving later on tonight. But the nearest rain is up in northern Minnesota or in eastern Nebraska, and just a few light showers at that. Most of the rain will stay out to the west of us. Over the next 7 days, the high temperature trend slightly below average. Average high temperature going from the mid-50s, generally staying in the mid-50s, but we'll see high temperatures in the lower 50s and even some upper 40s for the end of the weekend into early next week. By Halloween, temperatures will be back close to average. The 8 to 14-day temperature outlook from the Climate Prediction Center, this is for the first week of November, calling for above normal temperatures on the east coast and the west coast, below normal temperatures in the nation's midsection. Precipitation, though, a very high signal for above normal precipitation. It's very rare to see probabilities even in the 8 to 14-day time period above 50%, and it's calling for a 60% chance of above normal precipitation through the southeastern portion of the country, centered on the lower Mississippi River into the areas of western Kentucky and Tennessee, and above normal precipitation to the tune of about 40% here in Wisconsin. The time lapse from the Queen Bee Radio Skycam in Platteville shows how sunny the skies were today. Just some cirrus clouds that have started to thin out already, but more clouds will be moving in from the west later on tonight. Here's the live view from the Queen Bee Radio Skycam in Platteville, and you see skies are generally clear. As we check out the view from the WISC Skycam, you can see this is just after sunset. A few clouds out to the west, but not much in the way of any thick cloudiness. The Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison, that's a pretty shot with a reflection off the southern end of Lake Mendota. The almanac for today shows a high of 53, low temperature rather chilly at 27 degrees, but right now we're at 49 degrees. Skies are partly cloudy, winds out of the south-southeast at 8 miles per hour. As we look at weather track, that moisture from what was once Willa moving through the far southern parts of the United States, some of the moisture getting up into Kansas and Oklahoma, but you can see while clouds are moving in from the west, there's not a lot of precipitation with those clouds, and the upper level winds basically from west to east over our part of the country, so that will take much of the moisture to our south. High pressure is located just to our north and spiraling around some dry air in from the east, so that's keeping lakeshore areas a little cooler. Temperatures already in the 40s through much of the state. Farther out to the west are in the 50s, but as we check out future track, you can see that high moving off to the east, the clouds moving in, but the rain really staying at bay out to the west of us. Other than a sprinkle chance for tomorrow night and maybe on Friday as well, the first batch of rain will head to the south. The next batch of precipitation will start gathering to our north and west, and this will mainly be on Saturday as a low pressure system and cold front come through. This is Saturday morning, and still not a lot of precipitation there, but eventually this will work its way southeastward, maybe even bring us a few flurries of snow north of Madison Saturday night into Sunday morning. Our forecast for tonight calls for clear skies this evening, then becoming mostly cloudy late with a low temperature of 33. Tomorrow mostly cloudy and cool with a high of 51, but I think we'll stay dry during the day. On future track, you can see those skies turning cloudy later on tonight, keeping low temperatures in the lower 30s. High temperatures tomorrow back around 50 degrees or a little bit above thanks to southerly winds, even though we'll have the cloud cover. Tomorrow night, maybe a spotty shower in a couple of spots. Most areas will stay dry. That'll be the case again for Friday with high temperatures around the 50-degree mark. As we look at the 7 to 10-day forecast, temperatures turn a little cooler for the end of the weekend. That's when the best chances of showers will be from Saturday night into Sunday, and then some showers and maybe even a thunderstorm on Halloween, leading to cooler weather at the end of next week.
Up next, the Bucs flourish with animal safety in mind, and the Packers face off with the boy wonder of the NFL. For now, sports is next.
Hi, I'm Michelle Carolla. Tonight on the news at 9, we're following updates in the case of the missing teen, Jamie Kloss. A group of local firefighters are assisting in that search. That's first on Fox at 9.
The Packers are a middle-of-the-road offensive team through 6 games. Quarterback Aaron Rodgers says that's not good enough based on the standard that's been set. And says the improvement starts from handling situational football in a better way. The Packers finding themselves in more 3rd and longs than they're used to and more 3rd and 11 yards plus. That's going to have to get fixed as the Packers prepare for a brutal next month.
We got to put ourselves in better situations on 1st, 2nd down, and then the red zone. We got to score touchdowns. We're obviously not where we need to be in the red zone, so we got to shore some things up. And a lot of it is balance. You know, we got to find the balance. We got to run the ball better, more often, and convert the 3rd downs, give us more opportunities.
Rams head coach Sean McVay is 32, 2 years younger than Aaron Rodgers, quickly becoming one of the best turnaround artists in the league. When asked about facing Rodgers, McVay rattled off a list of everything that makes him great and conceded that there aren't many secrets when number 12 trots on the field.
He's a real problem, Gary, and so, it's going to be a great challenge, but something that I think our guys will be excited about. But, this is what you love. This is what's special about the NFL, and guys like Aaron Rodgers, you can't help but have a respect and appreciation for his game and what he's put on tape throughout the course of his career.
The one thing that you can expect from a Wisconsin-Northwestern football game is that you don't know exactly what you're going to get from a Wisconsin-Northwestern football game. They split the last 4 meetings, and the Badgers have won once in Evanston since 1999. Late October, early November is usually when Wisconsin plays its best football, and they're going to need to if they want to keep their lead in the Big Ten West.
Tough, and they're smart, they're talented, and you know that you've got to earn everything. I think that's what leads to it, and it's, in the past, it's been good football teams, too. You can almost expect anything in a game like this, and they're fun to play in.
Every team in this conference can compete. If you don't play your best football towards the end here, you're not going to do what you want to do. So definitely got to keep improving and start playing complete games.
Good news for the Bucs fans and bird lovers. The Fiserv Forum is the world's first bird-friendly sports and entertainment venue. I'm not making it up. The window design supposed to decrease the number of bird collisions into the glass. More than 1 billion with a B birds die every year from glass collision in the U.S. Wow. Bucs host the 76ers tonight. If birds want to get in, they have to get a ticket.
That's actually been an issue at the Vikings' new stadium.
Yeah, they do. So hopefully none of that in Milwaukee, for sure.
Kevin, thank you. We do have an update of the situation going on in the town of Madison. A man from that area has been arrested for trying to buy radioactive material online with the intent to kill someone. That's according to the FBI. Agents arrested Jeremy Ryan today. Officers are at that home right now. It's in the 300 block of Munn Road in the town of Madison. Campaign filings confirm that 30-year-old Ryan filed to run for Congress from that address. The charge of attempted possession of radioactive material with intent to cause death carries a maximum term of life in prison.
And Gary's here with the final check of your forecast.
Well, things on the cool side, but not a lot of rain, at least in the short term. Some showers toward the latter part of the weekend, and then again toward the second half of next week.
Gary, thank you. Thanks for joining us for News 3 at 6.
Have a great evening, and we'll see you back here at 10.
Download the new Channel 3000 app and get alerted on your mobile device the minute news breaks. Wherever you go, be the first to know with Channel 3000.